This is Morning Juice. Sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thidoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
He was in
I
Cream.
forgot about that.
That's a good song right there, though. By the way, not to go off too much tangent here, Bobby, I'm sorry. But I saw the other day that The Who, Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend are doing their final tour.
Is that final for real, or is this final until they need more money?
I think Townsend's 81. I think Daltrey's 80.
Oh, my God.
I'd say that's probably about it. And their final one was probably a handful of years ago. They just didn't tell anybody.
My problem, Bobby,
Let's hear it.
in 1982 at the age of 11, me and 3 buddies chipped in to buy The Who's pay-per-view concert from Canada. And it was like $11.99 or something. And that was billed as the final Who concert in 1982. And I don't know how I get reparations on that, but I bought that thing. We watched it, and it was good.
It's 43 years ago.
Yes, and they're still, and it was billed. It was The Who's final concert. It's on pay-per-view. You got to check it out. $11.99 at that point. A lot of money for us as 11-year-old to spend. That's the paper route money there.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I'm done complaining.
I went to Elton John's farewell tour
In the 70s?
1984 at Blossom.
Oh, did you really?
Really?
Yeah. That was the last time he was going to tour.
Of course.
Until the next year.
Yeah, here's the thing. You have to wait till they're so old that they're not that good anymore, and then they realize that this is the final tour.
We didn't know it at the time, though, Bobby. Like, how long has Kiss had their final tours? Like, back then, we really took people for their word. We were idiots.
I think it was their word. It was their final tour as they signed up for it, and then they realized a handful of years later
They need money.
they could go monetize it and go do it again.
Right.
And even if you're not as good, it doesn't matter. That's the thing. Like, it's the sweet spot of finding the final tour that's any good.
Right.
And the actual final tour. That's what I wish someone could advertise, the final tour of them being good. That's the one that people want to see.
That's how you should market
Not the
it, yes.
final time you wheel them on up
Right.
there and dump them out of a wheelbarrow and put them in front of a microphone. The last time that you can go see them and they're still good. Elton John's final tour, like, he couldn't do Crocodile Rock Shark, but he did just about everything else and was pretty good.
I can't see the Who, though, doing their Won't Get Fooled Again stuff, or they're like,
they
when they were the
can't sing
hippie
like
teenage.
that.
No,
No.
I'm saying like just the content, though. Just them singing songs of like, being a teenager and all this kind of stuff, and, fighting against, the establishment.
Vietnam.
Right. Not
They
really
still
good
protest-
place.
they still
Well, right.
protesting against Vietnam?
Yes, I'm saying. It's like, that's a part of my heart. I'm not going. If you gave me free tickets, I wouldn't go just in protest because I still want my $11.99.
So you wouldn't go for free?
I wouldn't go for free. I would not go see the Who for free. I'm just telling you.
I don't believe that off.
Bobby,
I'm going to call your bluff on that.
you're going to give me free tickets? Watch it. You give them to me, I'll tear it up. Or email it to me, I'll print it up and then tear it up.
Print them up and then tear them
Or I'll
up.
just delete it on the app.
Or you could do that. Some other birthdays today. Longtime Denver Nuggets coach George Karl turning at 74 today. Vin Rames turning at 65. Emilio Estevez. It's crazy to see him turning this old. 63 years young.
This is from a 40-year reunion of the Breakfast
Club?
Yeah.
Wow.
The first time that we all got together was John had organized a read-through of the script at a hotel in Century City, and I had the night before had just had all 4 wisdom teeth pulled, impacted wisdom teeth, and I was on pain pills. My face is swollen. I'm on pain pills. I'm bleeding out. They sent a car for me because I obviously couldn't drive. Got to the hotel. We did the read-through, and then at the end of the read-through, John says, "Listen, I brought a first cut of my movie 16 Candles," and he says, "I want to show it to you." And so we said, "Okay, great." And he puts the film on, and we're sitting there, and I didn't think I made it through the opening credits, and I passed out from the pain pills and just from the ordeal of having my teeth extracted. And I woke up at the end credits, and I looked at Judd, and Judd says, "I think you're getting fired." And I believed it too. I thought, oh gosh, yeah, I just failed the final test here.
So you said that was the 40-year reunion?
Yeah.
So that's amazing is that he was, like 22 when he played a high schooler at that point in time?
Yeah. They
22.
probably all were in their 20s.
Well, how old was
yeah.
Patrick Swayze when he played in Dirty Dancing? Was he like mid-20s?
Oh, yeah, he was older than that. He was like
I thought he was like 24, 25 when
Oh,
he
I
played
want to
it.
say he was almost 30.
When he was dating the high school senior.
Yeah, he was 30.
Baby.
You got a problem with that?
Not in your day, Shark. Maybe not.
Olivia Newton-John was 29 when she was
Oh,
playing
dude.
a high school girl.
Grease?
She played Grease.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Very impressive there. Some other birthdays. We got AJ's Uncle Tony Hawk turning 57 today. And then Jason Biggs of American Pie fame turning 46 today.
You're very good in the world history class, yes?
Me? Yes. No, yes, I am.
Perhaps you could help me with my studies.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great sometime. How about tomorrow?
Well, I have ballet practice. Perhaps, I could come by your house afterwards? I could change clothes at your place.
Yeah. If I suppose that would be okay. Sure.
Breaking news, Bobby.
Yeah?
Never saw any of the American Pie movies.
Well, there's still time.
I know. I'm saying I never saw any. I don't know if they got
I
now.
haven't seen them yet, is what you meant
Okay,
to
yeah.
say.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Haven't seen them yet. So at some point in time, you will be seeing them, hopefully. And then Steve Smith Sr. also turning 46 years young as well. Some holidays and observances today. If I can get this pulled up. Oh, goodness. It is International Nurses Day, Limerick Day. So Shark can speak in his rhymes. National Hospital Day. Odometer Day as well, and Women's Checkup, which is always the following Monday after Mother's Day. And hopefully, all of you guys, is your mom still alive, Tedov?
Yes, she is.
Okay, there we go. So everyone wished their mom a happy Mother's Day yesterday out there and got a chance to really enjoy some time together. And those historical events, your birthdays, your passings, your holidays, observances for this date, May 12th, the 132nd day of the year, and 233 days remaining in this 2025.
Bobby, this is why it's important, because I did not know it was International Nurses Day until just now, and my stepdaughter and my sister are both nurses.
There we
So
go.
now I'm going to look like a hero because they're not awake yet. I will be able to wish them happy Nurses Day, and they won't know I got it from Bobby Carpenter. They'll think I just thought from my heart, Bobby.
That'll be good for you, Tedov. Get you a little win.
That's what I need. I've had a few losses late. I need a win. We'll discuss a sudden retirement of an NFL quarterback. And, of course, we have to talk about Aaron Rodgers. We're joined by Bill Benner with Sporting News Next. This is Morning Juice right here on HD3, YouTube, and the Fan app.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around a golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-228-4544. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
Within 15 seconds of logging onto social media, the algorithm has your daughter in its crosshairs. It sends her a steady flow of images telling her she isn't thin enough, pretty enough. They invade her brain, causing body dysmorphia, anxiety, depression, leading to the worst rates of eating disorders, self-harm, and suicide we have ever known. All while she's sitting right next to you on her phone. Congress knows, but it refuses to act. Don't let her suffer the secret pain alone. Use your voice. Demand a plan. Join us at the Center for Countering Digital Hate, protectingkidsonline.org, because it's up to you to protect your children from social media nightmares. Join us for her, for your daughter.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car, and there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If you're looking for the inside scoop on the Buckeyes, you've come to the right place. This is Morning Juice.
All right, Morning Juice. Tito, Bobby Carpenter, Shark with you. Thank you so much for tuning in and finding us here this morning. I saw the chat now going on. I will participate there and respond to some of you out there. Appreciate all you guys being on there right now. We will now head out and talk to Bill Bender from the Sporting News. He's going to join us here. Bill, you are the first official guest on this version of the Morning Juice. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm curious, I saw that Derek Carr abruptly, I guess, as far as I'm concerned, retired from the Saints. Did you see that coming, or were you surprised by that move as well? We got him there.
We got no audio with that going on right now, so.
Bobby, so let's start with you.
Was I surprised? Maybe a little bit, given the fact that, that this didn't happen prior to the draft.
Right.
They were going to make this move, and I know that he was probably rehabbing. And you heard them talk, Mickey Loomis, when they asked about the Saints' decision, and he said that they were like uncertain, unclear on his future. And that I forget what the exact term it was. He had like no clarity as far as what he was going to do, which led them to believe like, okay, well, usually if you have no clarity, then you've got to proceed as if he might not be there.
Right.
Or there's a decent chance he might not be there.
He said that shoulder injury, it was not going to probably get fully healed anyway. And so, I was kind of caught up. But, hey, look, they're lucky they made the draft pick they did when they took Tyler Shuck when they did. Looks like he could end up being the guy. They could also, who knows now, is this another option for Aaron Rodgers perhaps? And the reason I say that, Bobby, is if Rodgers decides he wants to play, I got to believe – the NFC South, there's a clearer path to the postseason than the AFC North. You're playing indoors as well, which may matter, may not. I know Rodgers always has spent his career outdoors. He obviously with Green Bay had dealt with elements there, and then obviously with the Jets in the short time he was there. But I wonder if someone of Rodgers' age and experience would enjoy playing most because you figure Tampa Bay plays. New Orleans plays. Their home games obviously indoors. They play Atlanta in a dome. Tampa Bay, Carolina, usually warm weather and whatnot. Yeah. Is that something you think that would have a factor if the Saints went after him?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, you're going back to the NFC, so I think it's a conference that a little bit better than maybe the AFC, just spending a couple years there with the Jets. I don't know if that plays into it. I'm of the belief, I think that Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, the more I looked at this, and I hopped on, I think, with Rothman on Thursday, and brought this up, that I think that he's going to sign with the Steelers. I think the Steelers have known that he's going to sign with them. And I just think that they're slow playing this out. And although you would love to have your guy playing with you during OTAs and minicamp and, all those things, I think he'll eventually get there. But I don't think that the Steelers, that he's going to make an announcement until after the schedule release, because I don't think that they want to play all their games all over the place and deal with all the nonsense that they've got to deal with. So,
you think that the fact that the Rodgers is slow playing it and the Steelers, maybe it's in conjunction with each other.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them want to deal with it. And
that's interesting, Bobby.
Well, and Matt Hayes brought up, he said, well, it's prime time. The Steelers don't need any more fans. They've got plenty of fans. They're going to watch regardless. They're one of the most popular brands in the NFL. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, Like, why do you care about playing on Thursday night? Why do you care about playing on Sunday night?
Right.
Maybe you'll play some of them, but you don't want the weeks back and forth. And really, it's all the production that goes into it.
Huh.
And the argument was made, is like, is he afraid of the media? No, not really. I don't think Aaron cares about that. Like, he goes on with McAfee all the time. Like, yeah, because that's a situation that he gets to control and he gets to handle. When you start talking about doing this, he doesn't want to go do those sit-downs every single week before all of their games.
And so the interesting thing, too, is, Bobby, is that that they can, with the flex scheduling now, even if they don't put the Steelers on a lot, they can still flex them in a couple of times.
Not until the end of the season.
Right, not until later in the season, second, when the Steelers may be out of it anyway, so who knows. But all right, now I believe we do have Bill Bender with us here at the Sporting News. Bill, thanks for your patience. We appreciate that. We were just talking about the Aaron Rodgers situation, also with Derek Carr retiring. Did that surprise you at all with the Carr retirement, and is Rodgers a viable option for the Saints?
He's an interesting option. I mean, the Saints have two choices. They could either go with, try to go bring in a veteran like Aaron Rodgers, or roll with the current options they have with Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler, and then you would start to hear maybe are they tanking for an Arch Manning if Arch Manning were to come out of school next year. But I think we need Rodgers to make a decision before this NFL schedule comes out. I heard you talking about that. I mean, one factor with the Steelers is if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign with the Steelers, then Will Howard's a viable starting option there, given their quarterback room is Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. Obviously, he would have to win that starting job, but that is their quarterback room right now.
It is. I've just been of the belief, the more I've looked at this, Bill, that it feels like Aaron and the Steelers have talked enough that they both know what to do, and they're just delaying the announcement of this. And maybe that's for the scheduling or whatever, but it seems like Pittsburgh would have made a different decision probably in the draft and maybe taken someone earlier, brought in another veteran piece. Should Aaron not have been there, given where their team is at this year, especially with some veteran guys and trying to go, I don't want to say all in, but trying to make one last final push with some of these vets?
Yeah, and you're in a division where you're trying to keep up with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens and Joe Burrow and the Bengals, who have flipped the script on the Steelers a little bit. So I think that's a very interesting team with the right quarterback, especially after the George Pickens trade. Now you have DK Metcalf. The Steelers drafted well. They always draft well. They brought in Caleb Johnson. They're bringing in Jack Sawyer on the other side of the ball. And so the talent is still there to have yet another winning season on that extraordinary streak that they have with Mike Tomlin.
Looking at some college stuff this weekend, the Jim Knowles interview and that stuff started leaking out later last week. And Bill, when you hear about a coordinator talking about trying to get a contract wrapped up prior to the national championship game in the week preceding that, how does that kind of hit you?
Not great, knowing that there's still a game to be played, and your evaluation on the full season, had things gone wrong against Notre Dame, for example, your evaluation would have been a lot different. Now, Ohio State did play great defense through that playoff run, shut down Oregon, really limited to a really talented Texas team to not as much offense as they'd had all year. So to your point, yeah, I don't know about negotiating that then. There was obviously friction going on. And then, the quote that hit me is he was talking about how scrutinized that coordinator position is at Ohio State. But that's life at Ohio State. That was life for, every coordinator I remember through Mark D'Antonio, where everything you do is definitely dissected. But that's why you take that job, because it's one of, if not the best program in college football right now.
Bill Bender, Sporting News, joins us here on Morning Juice. Bill, and I know this is kind of looking out there pretty far, but we had people that came through the program with when you have Chip Kelly come through, who is then of course goes to the NFL. It almost looked like a temporary stop for him. If Ohio State has similar success this year on defense, and if Matt Patricia's name gets hot, could you see him being a one and done as well?
It's possible. Obviously his head coaching stint with the Lions wasn't the greatest, but he had a really good job as a coordinator with the New England Patriots. He did a very nice job there. So he is a guy that could happen. And again, I wouldn't freak out if it does. When Nick Saban had it rolling at Alabama, his coordinators would come and go, and look how many are successful now. Lane Kiffin, he rehabbed his image, goes to Ole Miss. He's been fantastic since. Steve Sarkisian, Texas is going to be in the top 5 again, and he has that rolling from a recruiting standpoint. So if Ohio State can do that, I never look at it as a big deal. I just look at it as you go to Ohio State to do a good job. And, if you had the same coordinators for 10 years, like Dabo did it at one time at Clemson, that's fine too. So there's 2 ways to do it.
Big Ten, SEC having their spring meetings here as a conference. What do you think is going to arise out of both of those? And I know there won't be any major changes to this CFP because a lot of the things are locked in here for 2025. But do you see any minor changes? And then do you see some sort of grand plan for what college football could potentially look like heading into 2026?
Well, I think I'm on a temporary spot. I don't know that we're going to have another round of realignment. You never say never with that, but I think the SEC will be at 16, the Big Ten at 18, at least for a few more years. Obviously a sign of that was the Clemson-Notre Dame agreement. I think the ACC is going to, be strong through 2020, at least through 2035. As far as the playoff, I think this is going to be the continued debate. Does the SEC and the Big Ten push for more automatic qualifiers? Is that what we end up with, like both conferences getting 4 teams in the playoff if we go to 14? And Bobby, I eventually think we are going to go to 16, and hopefully that's the final expansion. And how much influence does the Big Ten and SEC have on that? And my guess would be a lot, knowing that they're going to have the most teams in that playoff.
Bill Bender joins us with the Sporting News here on Morning Juice. Bill, this past weekend, Eddie George and Bowling Green had a pretty big fundraiser. Urban Meyer was out there. I think Tressel was out there as well. But the Bowling Green program now, how quickly can Eddie George put his stamp on that, and what's the ceiling for that school?
Yeah, it's interesting. Ever since I think the last 6 years, been a little bit of a struggle for that program, 6-7 years. Keeping up with the other Ohio MAC programs. But I think Eddie George will do a good job there. And as you know, I'm a Ohio alum, so it's a little bit frightening knowing that BG could be very good. It will take time, but Urban did it. Urban, I think by year 3, he had them rolling a little bit. They had Josh Harris when I was in college. I know that's a dated reference, but man, he was a really good quarterback, and I think that's where it starts in the MAC. And in the MAC, the gap between 1 and 13 is not that significant. So if you can turn it around quickly, and you have a couple good coordinators, and you're running good stuff, they could be right back in the mix. But I think it will take a few years, and I'm excited to see Eddie George in the MAC. It's really good for exposure for the conference to have a name like that on the sidelines.
Oh, absolutely it is. Looking lastly, one of the things that I saw proposed out there, and people have kicked around a lot with the 16-team playoff, possibly having another automatic bid for a group of 5 school, the auto bids when it comes to the leagues, with the Big Ten, the different conferences, SEC having 4, whatever it might be. Are you a fan, and just in general, of those automatic bids for, especially for non-conference winners?
Not really. I would rather we just take the top 16 teams in the rankings. And if there's a year where there's 2 Big Ten teams, that's fine. And if there's a year where there's 6, and there's been some epic Big Ten years, in the last 25 years, that I would do that. And if there were 2 group of 5 schools on a particular year, TCU and Boise State back in the BCS era, for example, we can do that. But, if we're going to reward 2 automatic qualifiers for group of 5 schools, I just don't know if that's the right way to do it. I was telling you about the lacrosse tournament. The college lacrosse tournament gives 10 automatic bids and then you end up leaving out a Big Ten and an ACC school that maybe should be in the tournament. And I can't imagine us doing that on the football side.
If the CFP gets much larger, and you said 16 is the cap, and I agree with you on that, but if it were to get any larger than that, it feels like we're almost going to get to a point where in the past where I felt like most years the best team won the championship, I don't always feel that way with the NCAA basketball tournament, March Madness, because there's so many teams in there, and sometimes you see these teams that are great throughout the regular season and through conference play and everything, and then you find an unexpected seed like a 4 seed or in some cases a 6 or 7 seed, whatever, win the tournament. Do you think college football will be in danger of something like that?
It's a fair point, because I do think once you get to the Sweet 16, there are some things that can happen where you might have that upset. And I totally agree. Not every year does, there's probably a long list I could come up with a list of 30 teams that should have won the NCAA tournament because they were the best team in the regular season, UNLV 90 on.
Yeah.
So in the NFL, the same to a certain extent, but I don't think we lose our minds when a wild card team wins the Super Bowl. And maybe we can feel that way about college football. To your point, on any given year, I most of the time feel like when you go into a season, I'm like there are 6 or 7 teams tops that are capable of winning a national championship. Is that about right?
That sounds about right. Yeah, I think you're right.
So if we can keep it that way, and there'll be upsets along the way. Upsets help. But last year, for example, Ohio State was, not seeded number 1, and I looked at it as, yes, they had 2 regular season losses, but we had known all along what kind of talent was on that team. When you have 14 guys drafted in the NFL, that tells you. So it's not like they were an unworthy national champion. And to your point, we may have one like that when we go to 16 teams.
Bill, thanks for sticking with us, bud, and hanging on. We appreciate that. We will talk to you again next week. And by the way, the Josh Harris dating yourself reference, as long as you're with Shark and I on this show, you will never date yourself too much. Trust me. Shark's been out there before face masks.
Well, that's a good start with you guys. Thanks so much for having me on. Have a great week.
Thank you very much. We'll get Bill next week as well. Always great talking to him. Coming up next, we'll hit you with some quick hitters. Wait till you hear about the potential starting QB for an SEC team. We'll do that next. Morning Juice.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. You've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
Bobby's knees hurt from doing battle with some of football's toughest warriors. Tito's knees hurt from begging Bobby to let him host this show.
Oh, pick me! Oh, I know, me!
This is Morning Juice.
It is Morning Juice. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Bill Bender from the Sporting News for joining us. Tito, Bobby Carpenter, Mark the Shark with you. This comes over from the last one, too, Bobby. Let's do some quick hitters, Sharky.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
Hey, good morning, Shark.
Good morning, gentlemen. It is always great to see you on the other side of the glass. Wait,
well, there's no glass.
No glass here.
It's a little rough, too,
I
today.
can't even cough or anything in here. Everything's going to get picked up. Hey, just
you want to get like a taxi cab plexiglass up? You want to see if we can get that in the budget?
Yes.
We'll do that.
And let's start wearing masks again.
Let's go COVID. Let's do it.
This is an amazing story. Austin Simmons is 19 years old. He's a quarterback who trained with NFL players when he was just 12 years old. He completed his high school coursework with a 5.34 grade point average at the age of 16. You know, when I was in school, you could get a 4.0, and that was it.
That was your max, yes.
I don't know how you get a 5.34, but in any event, he enrolled at Ole Miss 2 years earlier than expected. And Bobby, he is expected to be Lane Kiffin's starting quarterback this fall at Ole Miss. Again, just 19 years old. He's already gotten a bachelor's degree in college before he plays
19,
his first game.
He's been there for 2 years.
Yeah, the 16. Like, he graduated high school, I think, at 16 or whatever. And then
Doogie Howser?
That's exactly what I was thinking. What the hell's he doing playing football?
Yeah, that's good for him. I mean, these guys now, these kids they're incredibly focused. They grind. They work their butt off. We've seen now the reclassification guys. You saw it more in basketball than in football. And then you saw that happen with Sonny Styles here, him doing it. And the one thing about football is there's a maturity element that comes with the physical maturity of just simply getting older. And so to have guys come and be able to play as 17 years, I don't know if that's functionally
right
doable for most guys. Jeremiah Smith, an anomaly. There's a handful. Even Sonny Styles, phenomenal athlete. And played some as a freshman at the end of the year, but not a ton. And then played a lot as obviously a sophomore and then a junior. But we'll see here with this quarterback. I mean, it's a pretty remarkable path, but even then he came and sat behind Jackson Dart. And so the question then becomes, is the argument, is it better to play more football in high school and to improve that way than come to college early and sit behind somebody and maybe learn the offense and learn from college coaches? And I think that answer might be different for different people. I will say this, though, with that, the one thing we've seen in the NFL, Thidoff, is experience in game has mattered.
Sure.
For guys coming in who are rookie quarterbacks. And so I don't know if that same thing could be true for college as well, where it may have been better for him to play more in high school than just come to college and sit behind Jackson Dart.
So his dad's 5'9", and his dad was concerned about the genetic side of things, so he pushed his son towards baseball, thinking 5'9", you're going to be a quarterback in the NFL. You're not going to play a quarterback or play football,
that
probably.
Makes sense.
Okay. Well, then this kid had a growth spurt, and he's 6'3", by the way. And he
is he sure? Did he get a paternity test?
Bobby, like I've told you, hey, listen, if you got a kid who's 6'3", and you got a chance to start a quarterback, I'm not. If that's my kid, I may have questions, but I'm not going to. I don't want to know the answers to it. I'm just going to let it go. But so he still played baseball at Ole Miss. He redshirted his first year, and then he's played baseball. He also played baseball though, and had a decent season there, just spot duty. But I'm curious about this now, Bobby, because we talk about a lot of the adjustments when someone goes to college, not just the physical side of it, but adjusting to college life. And this kid's already graduated from college, spent a lot of time on campus, so he doesn't have to worry about that part of it. And I also wonder, and I don't know the answer to this one, but let's say he has a great year after 1 year of really playing college football. He can probably go pro then, can't he? Because he's been there. He's already graduated.
I mean, you're 3 years out of high school.
Right, so I'm saying it's not just 2 years of, it's 3 years out of high school, right? So he could, in theory, he could end up doing that. He could be a 19-year-old or damn near 20 going to the NFL draft. These are the guys I love and hate, Bobby.
Why do you love them and why do you hate them?
It's a great story.
For who, us? Or
for him, for that. The kid to be able to accomplish all those things. You mentioned the Doogie Howser thing, very real. But for him to do that is great. But then it also, I hate him because of how much he's accomplished at such a young age. And
so you're just
jealous. Yes.
Okay.
I'm just saying, Bobby. Look, and by the way, it should be a 4.0. Don't give me this 5.6 crap.
I don't know. I mean, maybe his classes were harder than yours.
That makes my 1.9 look a lot worse if it's on a scale of 6.
Listen, you have a Columbus City education. It's as good as you're going to get.
I'm just saying, Bobby. A 1.9 on a scale of 4.
At a school that no longer exists. I don't even know if that diploma counts, Tito.
I don't even know if that diploma exists, Shark.
Probably not.
If I didn't clean my English teacher's closet at the end of the school year, I would have graduated. Go ahead.
He was at Ohio State just one season, but Trey Sermon left a mark. He played at OSU in that COVID year of 2020. Remember, we just played, 5 games that season and then 3 in the playoffs. The Buckeyes made it all the way to the national championship game. Anyway, in those 8 games that he played, Trey Sermon rushed for 870 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he's remembered for setting the Buckeyes' single-game rushing record. Came in the Big Ten championship game against Northwestern, 331 yards, broke Eddie George's record. He was picked in the 3rd round of the 21 draft by the 49ers, played 1 season with San Francisco, 1 season with the Eagles, and then the past 2 seasons with the Colts. But it has not been a prolific NFL career yet for Trey Sermon. He's rushed for just 505 yards and 3 touchdowns in his 4 seasons. Now, Bobby, Trey Sermon is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 1-year contract.
Yeah, I mean, you say it's his 5th year, you said already?
It's amazing, I know.
Yeah, it's wild that how fast that time rolls along. He's had some injury issues. He's bounced around a little bit, but as a running back going into his 5th year, going to Pittsburgh, they have openings at that spot. They're going to probably explore every viable option. So him being one of them, it's a great opportunity for him. Running back in the NFL, it's such a fickle position. I mean, it doesn't work one place, it can work the next. And hopefully that they would have enough pieces around him. I mean, this is a great opportunity for him. If you're a Steelers fan, you're looking around thinking, okay, I wish maybe our room was a little more robust. But I think you bring in a veteran guy like this who's hungry, who's wanting to play, and we'll see what happens.
Bobby, the Trey Sermon college experience, the way it ended up, reminded me a lot of the Cardale Jones experience, as far as somebody who, Sermon didn't get a lot of, he really blew up in the playoff. That's when all the real hype came around Trey Sermon. I still think he has the potential. Yes, being the 5th year as a running back is a bit concering, but he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear.
You have to remember, he had a knee issue when he got to Ohio State.
Yeah.
So I would say the fact that he's 5 years into his NFL career, most people would say that that's very impressive, just given the fact that when he got here, he was coming from Oklahoma. I think a lot of people had the anticipation that, he might have issues with that while in college. And so he was able to get through college. Now he's going to his 5th year. Hopefully he'll be able to have a breakout season for him in Pittsburgh.
Hey, whatever happens with him, regardless, it's a testament to his
perseverance, his stick-to-itiveness.
I was going to say intestinal fortitude. Is that would I use that right? That one would that have been right in that?
It's like guts. He's got guts.
Yeah, but that's a fancy way to say guts. That's a pretentious way to say guts. But the fact he's stuck it out the way he has, though, and still going for his dream is also very admirable.
We already know that Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty will not run in this week's Preakness. The jockey who rode Sovereignty, Junior Alvarado, is a little lighter in the wallet these days. He's been fined $62,000 for using his riding crop Too many times.
So, but this is where Bobby says something about Shark having won. That's what he's going to say. I know.
During the Derby, Alvarado
What's
went to
riding-
I don't know,
the
Bob.
whip?
Yes, it's the whip.
Yes, apparently.
Yes.
He went to the crop 8 times during the Derby. That's 2 more times than you're allowed.
Wait, so hold up. You're telling me there's rules about how much you're
Yes.
allowed to encourage
Beat your horse, yeah.
Encourage your horse.
Encourage, yes.
Encourage your
Encourage
horse.
your horse.
I mean, like, do coaches, do they get like, is there
I know there's limits on them.
restrictions and
Yeah.
limits on how much they're allowed to yell at people, like players and other sports? Like, I've never heard of anything like this.
I'd like to educate you, Bob, but I don't
The
know
sport
anything
of
about
king,
horse
Shark.
racing.
Well, you're
yeah.
a king. You're King Shark, and they
I got
had
nothing
no
for you.
idea that you
Bobby,
were,
I didn't either.
I mean, dude, it's like how hard. It's, by the way, you're just snapping it with your wrist. It's not like they're winding it up and beating it with a chain. I mean, my grandma used to hit us harder with the switches when we get in trouble.
More than 6 times, though?
Well, it depends how bad we were.
Yeah, she could have gotten fined if that had happened. But it's, yeah, I never heard a horse complain about it, by the way. But nonetheless.
Did you ever talk to Mr. Ed?
See, if you're going to date yourself now, Bobby, that's what Shark used to watch Mr. Ed's live. But I didn't know it was a rule. It's interesting, Bobby, because so he gets suspended for a couple of days out there, also a couple of race dates. But the original fine was going to be $31,000. 10% of his purse.
Of his purse.
But because it was his second offense in Kentucky, they doubled the fine.
You got to be kidding.
So that's why it's $62,000 out of the $310,000 now.
Can you just line up and say, "Listen, I'll take 6 whips." I would rather do that. Give me the 6 and just give me the money.
I never knew it was a rule. I guess that he said that when he didn't know he did it during the race. He watched.
Of course, you're trying to win.
He watched it afterwards and realized that was the case.
Would he self-report it?
No, he didn't self-report. I think he just admitted after he knew he was caught. That kind of thing, which I'm great at, by the way. So, what else you got for you, sir? Go ahead.
Is he counting?
I mean,
is he out there? He's running a race. Is he counting? Okay, that's
if he's only got busted,
got 5 left.
They've got mud all across their face.
They're using
trying
3
to
sets
win.
of goggles because it's so muddy
But I mean,
out
like,
there.
If he's the one who gets busted, I guess they must keep track, which I never had any idea. I don't know how you would keep track of that when you're in the moment there.
Exactly. You know how hard it is for Jan with Shark? So imagine how hard it is if you're riding a horse for the fastest 2 minutes in sports.
He gets more than 6.
Mercurochrome is what I use on those lashes, Bob. Do you know what mercurochrome is?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Sure it's not even made up.
Yeah, again, I'm showing my age. You know what it is, right, Tito?
No, I'm not that old. What is it?
Come on. It's that little ointment you stick in. It's a little jar, and you put it on your wounds. Mercurochrome.
I have never heard of that in my life, Shark.
Google it. I don't know how to spell
Is
it.
that 2 words?
MER, curochrome. I don't know.
Wait.
What is there a Q in there?
No, there's no Q.
Is there a 9er?
All right, let me move on. The worst this is historically bad. The worst record in the major leagues.
Cream.
You see it?
Yeah, by Germa.
Can you still buy it?
It's antiseptic.
Thank you.
1 ounce preventative infection product is good for treating small injuries like cuts or scrapes.
Is it like castor oil? Is it
Helps
like that?
down the
Dana?
risk of the infection.
It's like reddish
Does
brown.
not burn like iodine. Great for children and for sharks.
For sharks, apparently.
The worst record in Major League Baseball currently belongs
Rockies.
to the Colorado Rockies.
Yes.
They are 7-33.
Baseball Bob.
On Saturday, the Rockies lost to the Padres 21-0. It was 19-0 after 5 innings.
Awesome.
The Padres had 19 runs on 19 hits through 5 innings. They had 4 guys in the lineup with 3 hits through 5 innings. Anyway, enough is enough. Finally, the Rockies fired manager Bud Black. Now, what's interesting about
it's
this?
his fault that they're that bad.
No, but the general manager isn't going to accept the blame. He's the one that put the team together. Bud Black has been a pretty good manager. He is the all-time winningest manager in Rockies history, but his record is only .545 and .690, Tito.
You know, you can't. I don't blame the manager on this. I don't blame Bud Black. If you look at the Pirates recently fired Derek Shelton, and if you look at them, they're in the bottom third of spending in Major League Baseball. It is unless you hit lightning in a bottle like the Rays have done, or getting that kind of. But for the most part,
The Rays don't hit lightning in a bottle. The Rays have one of the best front office and
Rays,
scouting.
you're right. Yes, that's fair. That's fair, Bobby. But I'm
They're
saying
always good despite not spending money.
But the fact, though, that they're the only one that really does that, if you're in the bottom third, it's really damn tough to win at Major League Baseball. And especially playing in Colorado. Colorado's always been such a weird thing with the home games and the you have to play out there in the altitude, and they've always had a hard time getting good pitching. Because of that, it's a mess. And I don't know. I mean, Colorado, it's worked out there in Colorado as far as baseball goes, as far as fan interaction goes. They had success for a while there, but I don't blame Bud. I think Bud Black's a fine manager. It's just if you don't have, going back to the Derby, if you don't have the horses and you can only whip them 6 times anyway if you had them, they're not going to do well.
So you think they should be able to whip the players more?
I'm not saying
Colorado?
whip the players.
Maybe that's the solution.
Maybe to hire horses. But it's I don't blame Bud Black for that, Bobby.
Well, 100%. No one does. I mean, yeah, could maybe he have scraped up a couple more wins, but I mean, is there a difference if they're have won 16 games versus 7?
If they're 9-31 instead of 7-33.
If they lose 17-0, does he keep his job
instead of 21?
Instead of 21.
I mean, that's the question, and I don't know. I mean, they're atrocious, and they're bad, and they don't spend money, and there's no expectation for them to be better. So I don't know why. You usually get fired in sports for failing to meet expectations. What were the expectations?
Yeah, maybe they've met expectations.
That's the thing, Bob. I'm tired of cheap owners that own these different sports franchise and don't have the money to spend or refuse to spend the money. I'm sick of that. Because if you, Colorado, you spend the money, you get money back through the revenue sharing thing they do when the top teams pay the bottom teams some money. Spend it on your team. Go out and buy some free agents. All these teams. The Reds also. I put the Reds in that group as well. Spend the damn money. If you can't afford it, get out of the sport. We don't have this problem in the NFL. I can't think of a single owner, Bobby, that cries poor.
Why? Oh, yeah, the Bengals do.
Well, they don't. I don't know if they cry.
Because you know why would they have in the NFL? You have to spend 90% of the salary.
Yes, you got to spend it.
So you can't just not spend the money. Now you can spend it foolishly,
right?
But you still have to spend it.
Yeah. So that's what bothers me. That it's baseball with that. That's one of the things that turns me off about it, because there once was a time when these lower market teams or smaller market teams could still compete at a high level, and it's not. I don't see it happening again for most of these.
Hey, wait, whoa!
What?
Have you seen the American League Central?
What? I'm sorry. Is it October already?
There are 4 small market teams.
Well, that are playing against each other.
500.
Okay.
2 of them have the best record in the American League. It can happen. It doesn't happen often,
right?
But it can.
That's something. The odds are against it, though. The odds are against it happening. All right, coming up next, top of the hour, we'll talk more about this college football, expanding the playoff field to 16 if they will. Should they do that? And what are the ramifications? That's next. Morning Juice.
My son Ian was diagnosed with a brain tumor at the age of 16 months. The outlook was pretty rough. I mean, it was, we had no hope until St. Jude rescued us. I mean, they saved him. To this date, we are 12 years into this journey, and from day one, we've never once seen a bill. It gave us the peace of mind to know that we're there with our son, and we're gonna beat cancer together. Now, he is doing really, really well. He's alive because of what St. Jude has done. He's here because of the doctors who came before, their blood, their sweat, their tears, the knowledge accumulated and shared, with everyone else around the world. This is how we get rid of this, how we help kids beat cancer all over. It's the future.
Together, we will make cures possible for every child everywhere. Learn more at stjude.org.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom.
See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about this neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you as a police officer that this department is reaching out to the community, and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. Start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/prevent violent crime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Proud to be your go-to sports addiction.
WBNS, WBNS FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. Bobby is the all-American male. Tito pulled a hammy getting his mail. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Tito and Bobby with you, Shark. Final hour of the program. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bobby, getting back to that, what they just, the hammy thing, that's funny. Ha ha. But anyway, I will tell you this. I played golf Saturday for the first time this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And I go out there, before I go out there, because...
Is that an accomplishment or is this...
Well, this is where it gets funny. Because I'm an idiot, I'm a bad golfer. That's well documented. But I decided to watch some videos from pros giving tips. Because if you just watch the video without being in a driving range or in a school type scenario, I'm sure it's good just to watch it and get it in your head. And I saw Justin Rose give this tip about keeping your elbow in. And what he said to do was take your left hand and put it underneath your arm, and then swing the club with your right hand. And you won't be able to get your elbow out. Great idea, right? I go out there to the course. I tried it twice and realized I was using a muscle I had never used before, which tells me I've been doing golf really wrong.
How much golf do you play?
I play probably about a dozen times a year, but I've been playing since I was 18 years old. But I'm just saying the fact that
playing a dozen times a year is going to exercise that muscle to the degree where it will be in shape.
But it's like I'd never used it before, though, Bobby. The muscle was. It's like I found a new potential for a muscle. I found something new I've never used before. Wouldn't you be surprised if all of a sudden you did something and thought, "Wow, I've never felt that there before"? And Shark, don't chime in on this because don't do it. I'm just saying.
There's a lot of room in there, Thidoff, to answer some interesting questions and stuff that you've been throwing out.
Do you think you've used every muscle in your body at some point in your life?
Oh, 100%.
That's what I mean. So if you found something, you would be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm sore, and sometimes this has happened where I'm like, I wonder what I did to get this muscle grouping sore, one that's not used a lot.
Right.
And so I'll go back and kind of ask myself that and try to figure that out if I can't remember off the top of my head. And usually I can figure it out fairly quickly. But yeah, it's not something that happens all that often to me, Thidoff, because I usually go outside and I'm fairly active. Like I will still run and sprint. Now I don't do a lot of field work through space and turning and shuffling and backpedaling and stuff, but I do some of it. And occasionally I'll get like a little sore. I won't do like crazy volume that's going to impact it too much. But yeah, never from just golf where I'm standing there. Not
just
doing
a golf
anything.
drill. It was a golf drill. And I did 2 swings, Bobby. I was like, oh, that feels different. I've never.
Yeah, we did because I played on Friday. We played down at
Beamer out there.
Yeah, I took Beam down to Burroughs Golf Outing. It was a lot of fun. Had a good time with it. He had some really good ones. It was good because he by and large hit a lot of really good shots.
He's a good golfer,
but he did hit some terrible shots too, which made me feel better about myself.
Right.
With it because I said I'm capable of hitting good golf shots. I'm just more apt to hit bad ones.
Right.
And then there's some average in between, and that's usually how my day goes. So it was a good time out there and had a blast. Met some great people. It was great watching Beam. Bernie Kosar was behind us in line as we were getting stuff, and he started talking to me and then introduced him to Beam. Next thing you know, they're exchanging phone numbers and taking pictures with each other and everything else. So, yeah, it's like we're developing some of those connections that are so critical and paramount to success in life. By the way, Shark, do you have to have, is that one coffee straw? Or, okay, so that was two.
No, it's just one. I've got it bent in half.
You look like a walrus over there with the two.
I am the walrus.
He gets bored sometimes. He entertains himself. The Kosar thing, early on, I had a chance to interview Bernie Kosar.
He's doing good. He said he's been been sober for a number of years now.
Right.
Seemed to be really good. We started talking about, the ability to, live life after football and what that looks like and everything else. And it was a really good conversation. And I'm glad because, there was a story that I think I had told Beam. Beam forgot about it. It's really an off-air story, but it was one from, he was at James Laurinaitis' wedding.
We're not on the air anyway. Go ahead.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. We're yelling in a bucket. But it was just one from, he used to date a good friend of James Laurinaitis, his wife. It was her roommate's mom.
Okay.
And they used, he dated, so he was there at the wedding and talked to Bernie a long time there. And this was prior to him being sober. So there was some entertaining conversations that were being had at that point in time with it. And so I had told Beam that story, and he remembered it by the time I got to the end. He goes, "Oh, that's a good one." But it was great. I go, it's like you're watching a movie for the first time, and then you kind of stumbled on the ending. Like, oh yeah, I remember the ending of that was pretty good. So it was fun. But it was great to see Bernie there. A bunch of Joe's teammates out there running around. I'm trying to think of just former coaches, and I talked to Joe's dad for a while as well. It was a very, very good turnout and awesome, really well run deal. The third annual Joe Burrow Foundation, so a lot of it goes to providing food and meals and opportunities for underserved people within the state of Ohio. So just a great cause, and people from all over the state that were there. A lot of people talking about the show and everything that was going on with that, and some excited for Monday and sad for Friday, but it was well represented from all across the state.
I love that Burrow does that, and the fact he landed in Cincinnati is perfect for him and perfect for the community that the stuff that he does, and the fact he's an Ohio boy. When I interview Bernie Shark, you can tell me as a longtime journalist.
Yeah, I'm on here.
I also had him though. Yeah, I had him. I did an interview for him. It was at a card show or something, or there was an event where a bunch of athletes were at, and I had him out there. I asked him, and afterwards I caught some hell for it on the internet. But I asked him, what was the most painful loss of his career? Was it the Hail Mary from Flutie? Or was it the drive? I know. Listen, I know. That's why I'm asking you. Is that a question do you think should have been asked? Or do you think I was going too dark?
Tell me about the worst parts of your life.
That's right.
How long ago was this?
Probably 8 years ago, maybe.
Okay. So it was 25 years after he was done.
Yeah.
20 years after he was done. I think that's okay.
I felt bad.
I would have started with, what was the best memory of your career?
I should have done
Soften him up a
little bit. But I asked him, which one hurt more? I think I said, which one hurt more? The loss to Flutie.
The fumble.
Oh, the
drive.
The fumble or the drive are the ones I said. And he mentioned something about winning a ring, I think, with the Cowboys at the time, and he tried to go on the positive side of it. But no, let's go back. Tell me what's going on. So I felt bad about that one.
Did you really, though?
Like that?
I don't think you felt that bad.
Maybe not. Okay, so if college football does go to the 16-team playoff, which is what it sounds like a lot of the Power 4 commissioners want to do, Bobby. And we talked about it, you and I did recently, about the fact that ESPN wants the SEC to add another conference game. And if the SEC will do that, they'll probably want guaranteed bids into a 16-team or 14-team, whatever it is. Do you think a 16-team playoff is the way to go? And
what are my options here, Thidoff?
Well,
is this a multiple choice test?
You could stay at 12. You could go to 14. You could go to 16. It's not going back. We know they're never going to take. They never take away playoff games.
People don't like to buy, so they're going to 8.
They're going to they figure hell with it. We'll go back. Let's go back to the BCS or the Rose Bowl gets the Big Ten every year. But are you in favor of it? How big is too big? God, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions at once. And what are the possible bad ramifications of this?
So I guess some of the structure is around what does the 16 team look like?
Right.
Who's getting in? What are they when they're going to get in there? And this goes back to the question I asked Bill Bender. are there auto bids that come with this? So there's certain teams that are going to, or conferences that are going to get 4 or 5 teams in. And that's the argument for going to 16 versus 14 is then you could have, 4 or 5 auto bids for the Big Ten and the SEC and whatever that looks like. And then I saw a proposal Bill Connelly had put together where, maybe you have in the championship 1 versus 2, but then in your you can have other games
like
where
the 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes.
Yeah, you play 3-6 and 4-5 for the other game. Whatever it is, however that breaks out. And so I have some other games in there to get people excited because it's more games, it's more revenue, more fun. We're just giving you the fun and drama. People are coming there to get more of what they always wanted. So that'll be nice. And so I'm not a huge fan of the auto bids though. Like I don't necessarily like that. If you tell me, like, hey, let's get the 16 best teams, all right. If you want to say, hey, get 4 group of 5, power 4 teams in there, maybe 1 group of 5. I'm honestly leaning, though, more towards the group of 5 having their own tournament at this point and doing that. I think that's something that I would find interesting. That's something that I would watch. And I think it would be something that, they can still play and you can have the non-conference games and all this and different thing back and forth, but having their own pathway to success, I think it would be something that a lot of people I think would watch and enjoy.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm less excited about the conference championship games now, only because and it worked in Ohio State's favor, I think, this year. Would you agree with that? That not playing that extra game, do you think it worked in their favor? Or do you think it didn't matter?
I don't think it would have mattered. To tell you the truth, I mean, I think the fact that when they lost to Michigan and how they chose to come together, and the commitment they made afterwards was a big piece of it.
Sure.
If maybe, let's say, they made it to the Big Ten and lost anyway, I think that could have done the same thing.
If they would have made it to the Big Ten and lost it, they still would have gotten in, right? You think?
They'd have been the second best team in the Big Ten.
I understand. I'm just saying that if it would have been an unfortunate experience, if they looked bad, and that'd be losing to Michigan and then losing this one back to back. I didn't know if that would.
They would have gotten
in the 12. Okay. With the 16, I'm with you. It depends on if they do auto bids or not. And are they going to still I hope they still let the better seeded team host the first round. I hope they do. I hope they do that.
There's an argument in the push. Then, if we're going to go to 16, the whole first round is going to be hosted on home site. Should the second round be home sites as well? That's one of the things they're asking. What do you give me that scrunch face for?
Because I don't know if it's. So you would say though, but would you reseed or just whoever the better seeded team is in the bracket? We
could do either. The NFL reseeds. I'm not necessarily against reseeding.
Right.
I'm not against it to it. I'm kind of agnostic on that. I think there's years where it'll be better. There's years where that would be worse.
Right.
But I'm not necessarily against it.
Yeah, I think. I'd love to have 2 games at the Horseshoe, 2 playoff games every year. I think the Tennessee game was a lot of fun. It was electric out there, great atmosphere, and a great exposure. Not that Ohio State needs more exposure. But
it was the best environment at the stadium I'd ever been to.
And that's some Ross Bjork has said something.
I've been to a lot of games over there.
Well, you've been in different spots on the field, in the stands.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing. I've been on the field.
Did it compare to your championship season? Some of those games, as far as the atmosphere,
no, it was way better.
Was it really?
Yeah, because at night we didn't play any night games at home in championship season.
You didn't, did you?
No, I played 2 night games at Ohio State in the shoe.
Okay.
We played Washington in 2003 to open the season, and we played.
Was it
Texas my senior year? Those were the 2 night games that I played.
That was a Vince Young with Texas. Yeah.
Yes. And we played some other games that were like late, the 3:30 starts, late in the year where it's night at the end of the game, which was cool. But the only 2 real night games I played were those 2. We were 1-1, and those were the best environments, most unbelievable opportunities that I've been around. And so, yes, I'm a huge proponent of night games when they're appropriate for the gravity of the moment and the gravity of the game. I don't need Akron at night.
I was going to say, that one doesn't bring the juice for you?
No, I don't need to wait around all day for a
Western Michigan at Ohio State won't do it for you?
I don't need
rivalry?
I don't need to wait for a bloodletting. We can have that at lunch and then get on with our day.
I was thinking about this too, Bob, when they talk about the 16-team thing. I'm sure you get asked this question. You've thought about it also maybe. But the following season, after your championship season, you guys were great again, ranked number 1 before you lost to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
This is me doing the Bernie thing again there, Shark. But would it You guys would have been in a 16-team playoff at that point.
Yeah, we would have got in 3 of my 4 years, I think.
Do you think that team could have legitimately competed for the national championship?
Yeah. What's interesting, I think in 2002, if there was any type of tournament play where you had to win more than one game, I would say that would have been a huge disadvantage to us.
Okay.
I don't know if we would have been able to have – our offense was terrible. And even in 2003, we were marginally better. Not marginally, we were actually worse, but I think our defense may have been better. I don't know.
Right.
But I just felt a little more confidence in 2003. In 2005, like you put us in a 12 team, I would have said we had as good a chance as anybody. Our odds would have probably been the third best odds on the board behind Texas and USC, and it wouldn't have been by much. I mean, heck, we lost to Texas on the last second play, and we're up by 6. So I think it depends on the construction of each team. There's years where that would have benefited Ohio State, being able to get in and make a run because of maybe some unfortunate and untimely losses. There's years where, hey, they're good, but would they have been good through being able to sustain that high level of play? And I don't know if that would have been the case.
That's interesting you say that, Bobby, because when I hear the 16-team playoff, all I thought about was times it, I don't want to say screw, but times it would have helped Ohio State to have the playoff there. I never even thought about that in 2002. You're probably right. Because I don't want to say it was lightning in a bottle, but it was like and it wasn't on the level of Buster Douglas, Mike Tice as far as like an upset goes, but I'm with you. Yeah, if you had to win 3 games there, it might not have happened.
I mean, it was a little bit, you had the Miracle on Ice field. I mean, if we played Miami 10 times, I mean, if we won 3 of them, I'd say that would be a win.
That was a damn good Miami team.
They were really good. And we had put in a lot of new things. We had adjusted a lot. I mean, they were not prepared for what we had, and we had 7 weeks to prepare for it. And so, like, if you had to try to do that every week and recreate that, I don't know if winning on the margins like that consistently would have been very, very difficult.
That's interesting. I never really thought about it that way, but I always think on the positive side of things. Shockingly, Bobby, I know. But, yeah, you're right. That 2002 team, it could have changed things dramatically with the way the legacies there of some of the players and of Jim Tressel also, depending on what would have happened there. All right, coming up next, the Buckeyes made an offer to a wide receiver in the class of 2028. The name should sound awfully familiar. That's next. Morning Juice.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around at golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-228-4544. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. I care deeply about creating a world we can all fully participate in, free from stigma, misperceptions, and barriers. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Rooted in communities nationwide, Easter Seals helps empower millions of people, regardless of age or disability, through its life-changing services and powerful advocacy. Today and every day, Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
Attack and dominate, YouTubers. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Tito, Bobby, Shark. Bobby, couple of things in the chat. We've been told that with these gray walls, we should put like some kind of scarlet stripe.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Buckeye Frank had that one out there.
Bring some stuff in here to hang up.
Well, here's the other one. Ben says Bobby should go back into the old studio and steal his jersey back and put it in the new studio. That's a good call.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I don't care if they have a blank wall over there.
I mean, I could probably just get another jersey or some other stuff, and we could do that.
Let's do
Bring
this.
it in here.
Bobby, let's do this together. Make it almost like a semi-coup. Let's go in there and take yours. And are we going to have AJ on Fridays or at some point?
Yeah, I got to text him.
Okay,
about
so we
that.
have it. But we should get yours and AJ's jersey. Those belong here, not there with those guys. It belongs here.
Yeah.
Bring them home, Bobby.
Bring them home. Yeah, we'll see what we can do with that. I'm sure we'll be able to figure something out there.
I think we got to make a power play. Just make a power play, and we'll do that. I don't know, Bobby, I don't know how Brian Hartline could possibly lose a recruit anymore. It seems like every time he goes after somebody, he gets them. I can't remember the last time.
Especially now that he's got that sleeve tattoo.
Oh, does he have a sleeve tattoo?
Oh, yeah. It's ace in the hole. You saw, I mean, that had to be, it was out, I guess people saw him in full force. He was out there, maybe he had sleeves on during the spring game. He was rocking it out at the Saddle Up event. So people saw it there. Oh, yeah, he's got a nice full sleeve tattoo. He's been lifting weights. He's probably like 210 now. Looking strong and powerful.
Dude's amazing.
Ready to walk into schools all across the country and
just
solicit high school dudes.
He's just going to go in there and just point at kids, hey, you're coming here. And that's going to happen. Ohio State has offered Jet Harrison, who is Marvin Harrison Jr.'s younger brother, Marvin Harrison Sr.'s son. Now, if you remember at the Heisman ceremony, they made a joke. I can't remember who made the joke, but one of either Marvin, either senior or junior, I think one of them made a joke, I thought it was, that Jet's better than Marvin's going to be.
Well, Marvin wasn't highly recruited coming out.
He wasn't.
And he wasn't very big.
Right.
Like they recruited him because they kind of saw him on Kyle McCord's film.
That's right, yes.
When he got here, or maybe they watched him maybe the next year, he'd already been offered. But he went from like 5'11" to 6'3" and like grew significantly. And like, oh gosh, like this is going to be good.
Like go ahead.
And then I don't know if I think that was before COVID. I want to say I think that's right. But yeah, it was wild. Maybe during it, that's why they didn't like see film on him or didn't see him in person for a while. And then he gets here and like, wow, like this guy's a dude now.
So if he's class of 2028 and he would commit here, he would play at least
so
one.
Be a sophomore this year, yeah.
So he'd play 1 year at least with Chris Henry Jr., correct? Because Henry's 2026 class, right?
Yeah, he'd probably play 2 if they're 27 and 26.
It's 26 and 28.
Or 26
He's 28. Yeah, Jet Harris 28. Yeah.
Yeah, then you'd play 1 with him, I guess.
I look forward to that. But it's a cool thing though, and I wonder though, like how much do you think you went? I mean, obviously you've been on. You were recruited by Ohio State, but you've been around other guys that have been recruited by Ohio State and whatnot, and some legacy players. How important is it that, because now Marvin Harrison Sr. went to Syracuse, Junior obviously comes here and has a lot of success, more college success than his dad did. How much does that play into, you think, some of these decisions, or does it matter at all for these kids?
I think it matters a lot. I mean, why wouldn't it matter?
Well, I don't know, like with today's college, with the fact that the NIL and with opportunities and the transportal ways, I didn't know if it was something that normally that it was less important than it used to be to have a legacy kid when he gets offered by the school.
I don't know if it's a legacy situation. I think as much of it as anything is it's the fact that the kid, their sibling, and maybe it was their parent, but more importantly, like sibling, I guess, if that's the type of legacy we're talking about here in the Marvin Harrison situation, is how much success his brother had and how he was developed and how he's ready to play, was ready for the NFL when he came out. That to me is what is the more important part. Like your dad going there or something like those things matter. And I think that there's an affiliation for the school and a love for it when that's the case. But for those guys like coming in, if you have an older sibling that was here,
right,
and had a lot of success and had a really good experience, then I think and all of those factors are still in place.
Right.
Why that happened, I think that has a very high propensity to repeat itself. Then
I'm constantly amazed at how often it feels like Hartline gets his targets.
Yeah.
The guys he wants and how they're able to keep all
these guys. He's very selective in who he goes after. He's very direct in how he recruits them.
Right.
And so in doing that and saying that, like that's going to allow you to get the guys that you want when you develop them the way that you have. He has a proven track record of success, and everybody can see that and they understand it and they've witnessed it. And so you marry those things together and it's like, okay, well, this is what it is.
And not that it's ever on autopilot, but I got to believe it's an easier sell now than it was 5-6 years ago.
Because you have the track record of success. Here's these guys in college. I develop them. By the way, they're all first rounders when they come out of here. I mean, it's crazy to think that. And so if you're a receiver and you are competitive and you want to go to a place that's going to get you ready for the NFL, this guy's going to do it because you are going to be the best version of yourself. They're going to have mixed skin developing in the weight room. You've got great rehab and medical services with Stu and Sean Barnhouse. And then Brian Hartline, obviously, on the receiver individual development with him and Devin Jordan and what they've been able to put together.
Bob, when did you start getting recruited?
I got offered here after my sophomore year by Bill Conley.
I'm thinking Jet, class of 28, so 27, 26, 25. He's still a freshman in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how can you have any idea how a freshman in high school, maybe didn't play varsity, I don't know, is going to translate to the college world?
Well,
just because he's got a last
there's a lot
name.
of physical development that has to happen, but maybe a lot of that already has. I could have told you Sonny Styles as a freshman was a Division I college football player. Like that, I mean, I watched him play at Pickerington.
He was playing varsity as a freshman?
Yeah. I mean, he was really good.
Did you play varsity as a freshman?
Yeah. And
Full time?
Yeah, after the third game, yeah. I mean, our team wasn't very good, but I mean, I played all right, but I was tall and skinny. And I guess some of that is a projection of, okay, and my dad will say this, well, look at their parents and look at the kid. I mean, it's not a full, 100% growth track like that as we were talking about old boy at Ole Miss.
Right.
But, I mean, if you tell me probably 8 to 9 times out of 10, I mean, the kid's going to have characteristics that are very similar to that of his parents. And so, yeah, you look at that, you look at the family, you look at the development and understand, okay, there's a logical progression here that I think we could get to where we need to go.
Is it too early for me to believe that Laurinaitis could be on a similar path as Hartline as far as recruiting goes?
No, because I think there's one of the top linebackers in the country
Yeah,
who committed or is
the
going
kid from Georgia?
Just got crystal ball here. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause it's the same thing. Listen, it's not a hard. Recruiting isn't all that hard, unless you're just a grade A weirdo, which there are those guys out there. But if you're at a school like Ohio State and you have this track record of success as a university, you're in a market like this where you've got a lot to sell as far as the fan base, the city, everything like that. And you're a coach who has developed NFL talent. Now, James maybe doesn't have like the track record of Hartline yet.
Right.
But I feel like it's getting there. And with what happened with Cody Simon over the last couple of years and what he was able to do with him, your players love you. They speak very highly of you. You're a decorated NFL player, and you develop guys, and they have success in college and translate that to the NFL. There's not a whole lot else you can ask for.
When you say, Bobby, recruiting's easier, you mean at Ohio? I mean, because it seems to me like from my standpoint, I look at it seems recruiting is a lot harder across the board just because of all the other things involved in
But
it.
you can't lie to kids. Nobody
Right.
can.
Okay. Well, you used to be able to, yeah.
We're used to be able to probably practice the art of deception.
Yes.
A little greater. You cannot do that. And so that I think if you're someone who's always been honest and upfront with people, you're going to shine through in this scenario. And that's going to help benefit you. So for people that Ohio State has, I don't think Ohio State's really ever lied to players at large. And so in doing this, yeah, I think it's something that's going to benefit them in a big way.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. And then also, not to get too much on the legacy thing, but there's a kid named Jonathan Sanderson. You remember his dad, John Sanderson, played basketball here, went to Michigan and was their strength and conditioning coach.
Okay.
I think he's the only person to be a strength and conditioning coach and win a national title and a player. Final Four, playing the Final Four, and be a strength and conditioning coach for a Final Four team. But he had the run-in with Juwan Howard and was let go, went to Notre Dame, and now he is.
Him and Juwan getting a fight?
There was a little.
Was that the rumor that
was the one where he said something to Juwan Howard's kid? Remember, it was on the team, and something happened. I think that Howard's kid what's his name? Jet Howard. Is that right, Shark? I think that's what it is, right?
Yep.
Jet Howard. The report was that Sanderson and Jet Howard got into some kind of argument. I don't know if it got physical or not, but then Juwan stepped in, and it became more aggressive, and then ended up being put on leave with pay or whatever, and then ended up parting ways
That's
somehow
great.
the program.
I love that.
He went to Notre Dame then, but now he's at Vanderbilt. Anyway, his son is a 2026 point guard, and he is 6'3". He's a top 60 recruit in the class of 2026. He averaged 29 points, 6.1 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 2.1 steals as a sophomore. He's down in Nashville now. Follow his dad down there. He was in Michigan before at a high school up there at Michigan, Ann Arbor Saline, but now he's down in Tennessee with his dad. But he's somebody Ohio State's got their eye on. What's interesting was Indiana
has a new state bird.
They have a new state bird?
Never mind.
Did I miss something there? Is that a Bobby Knight reference?
It's a Terre Haute, Indiana reference.
Okay.
Actually a French lick reference.
Okay.
I've been watching a lot of in my YouTube or in my Instagram algorithm. I was watching some stuff about the Dream Team, and so I've gotten a lot of things about the Dream Team in there lately.
Okay.
And there was Jamal Mashburn talking about
the Rodney Rogers thing,
the Rodney Rogers situation about hey, you hadn't made
a joke since '84.
'84, and then he went out there and just torched him with it. It told him every move he was going to make, and went and just put 7 straight buckets on him in 7 possessions. And so I've been watching a lot of those.
That's
and the
good
stories around that. So Larry Bird has been in my frame of consciousness significantly as of late.
Brian Walsh was the guy recruiting him for Indiana. Brian Walsh is now an Ohio State assistant coach. He was the one who rounded out Diebler's staff now. So positive things there potentially. But I remember Sanderson, Shark, he went to OU then. Didn't play for a couple years and went to OU, if I'm not mistaken.
What? I remember Sean Stonerook did that.
I think John Sanderson did it too. I think Sanderson did it as well.
I know Stonerook did. I remember watching him go down there and play.
Yeah.
I think I think Ohio State played OU when Stonerook was on OU.
Oh, really?
I want to say that's the case, but I'm not
I know
positive.
Ayers recruited John Sanderson.
That whole
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a Fab Five, but it was a highly recruited class, and they were all gone in 2 years.
Well, because they were
They
were shooting at each other and stealing car stereos.
It was an arrested 5.
Who was the one that stole
Gerald
that
Eaker?
Robbed CC Sabathia in an elevator up in Cleveland?
Was that Stringer?
Damon Stringer.
They had Damon Stringer. They had Gerald Eaker. They had Killer Macon. Great nickname,
Killer
by the way,
Macon.
if you stay out of trouble.
Stole gas.
Yes.
Drove off.
Eaker shot someone's tires out, right?
Was it one of his teammates?
Yeah, one of his teammates.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what we need. You need to do a full. I was trying to tell Beam this or someone, but I was like, I don't think you guys realize after Jim Jackson left until Randy Ayers was gone, there was like a 3-year period where it was pretty rough.
It was very rough. And Funderburk was still around for another year.
Yeah, he kind of held it together a
Right.
little bit that final year.
But even his play regressed a little bit after that, after Jackson and Gent and those guys left. But Sanderson, I believe, was from Lexington.
Oh, you might be right.
Ohio?
Yes. And, yeah, all those guys, man, they were gone.
Didn't Derek Anderson play for a year with them and then go to Kentucky? 2 years.
2 years. He came here.
Right.
And wore Jimmy Jackson's number 22 the year after Jackson
did he really?
left. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
And he was great. Derek.
Did he wear 22 or he wanted
He
to?
wore it.
He wore it?
Yeah. Hadn't been retired at
Haven't
that
retired
point.
yet. No Lawrence Taylor, Phil Simms episode with that then at that point. But yeah, those teams, you're right, Shark. They had so many highly rated recruits coming in.
High character guys, too.
I don't know if high characters where they were. I think they were 5-star athletes, but maybe 2-star character, if that, some of those guys. But
that's the ratio you're looking for if you want a nice volatile locker room.
It really set the program back.
No, I didn't think that really catapulted it to where it needed to go.
That thing was shooting the teammates' tire out.
His final year when they won single-digit games, I don't know if it was 8 or 9. They were like 9-22. And then some people are like, this is the worst the program has been. I was like, let me. You're too young to remember. I remember I had the one my son wore to the Tennessee game this year. I had my starter jacket that my mom got me for Christmas. My parents got me for Christmas, and it was Ohio State coat. And I'd always tell people like you would wear it through the fall with pride, and then in the winter, I'm like, I'm not really a basketball fan. Yeah. Okay, I can't claim Ohio State basketball.
That year, Doug Etzler was the best player on the team, which was
that's not. You know what, Doug Etzler can't be your best player.
Yeah.
He can be your backup point guard.
He could be your 7th or 8th man.
Yes,
you don't want him being your starter.
They wanted guys that could just show up to practice because they weren't incarcerated or having a pending.
It was so
court
bad.
hearing.
And I remember Penn came in here from the Ivy League and smoked us.
No, Penn came in for the Big East. Oh, Penn, the school. I'm sorry, not SCUNY Penn. You're right.
Not
right.
No.
Penn came
the
in
University
here.
of Pennsylvania.
Sorry, wait, the other Penn.
Yeah. I was
That's
like,
right.
okay, this is going to be a bad season. We
lost to Penn. That's right. That's right.
I guess if you only win 9, you probably lost to some bad ones in there too.
Yeah, you can't. It's if you only lose 9, you figure the non-conference schedule over here.
I always say when people talk about how divisive we are politically as a nation. This is the worst it's ever been. People are like, nah, we did have a war. I mean, that was
we did do that.
Right. So there were people actually killing each other.
Yeah.
Like there was this. So when we talk about Ohio State, this is the worst it's ever been. I'm like, I don't know if you would fully agree with that. If you came back and watched, and you don't even need to watch the games, just look at some of the box scores, and then read some of the articles around it, and you'll find that. I don't know what it'd be, like 94 to 96, 97-ish window.
It was.
Yeah. Well,
because Jimmy went out in the 92 draft, right?
Ayers and Nancy Darsh got fired on the same day.
Same day?
Same day, in 97.
Who's Nancy Darsh?
She was a women's basketball coach.
Okay.
So Geiger
she
fired
coached
them both
Katie
on
Smith.
the same day. Yeah, she
was coaching Katie Smith and went to the final game.
After Tara Vanderveer.
Right. Vanderveer had a lot of success and went to Stanford.
She was in her 20s.
Yeah.
When she was here. Yeah,
because she's been at Stanford for 40 years. I was like, she was at Ohio State?
Who replaced Darsh? Was it Foster? No.
Nope. Her last name started with the same letter as her first name. That's all I can remember.
Wait, you don't know the answer?
I don't.
I thought that was a clue.
She was here 5 years.
A clue for both of you.
She was here 5 years. I don't know that the OSU women made the tournament in those 5 years.
By the way, Jamie Bosley's name was brought up by Jeff Rivers, middle half on that team.
From Akron. He was involved in the stolen car in the parking
He was
garage.
in that thing too. Yeah, so much going on with that. We got a name. We have to get a name now for the Ohio State women's basketball school to break. Shark? The first name and last name both started with the same letter?
Yes.
Beth Burns.
Beth Burns. Thanks, Bob.
Good call. Beth Burns.
I looked it up. I didn't know. She was here till my freshman year, and then that's when they brought in Jim Foster.
Who was great. Foster did a lot of great things here as well, and they've been on a nice run since then. Outstanding. By the way, Jeff Rimmer chimed in on that too as well, a little bit late, but it's actually Jeff Rimmer's middle half, not actually Jeff Rimmer, Shark, just so you know. I don't think Rimmer's tuning in right now. But who knows? Maybe he is. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up. We'll tell you what's got us juiced. Morning Juice right here.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to grow and thrive, to be healthy, to succeed in school, and achieve great things. How do we do it? In the best way possible, by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities. And most importantly, by empowering youths and their families to get out of poverty and into employment through life skills, computer, and job training. The very tools they need to break the cycle of poverty and build futures full of promise. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full and best potential. Learn more about how Children International is empowering children and families by going to children.org today. That's children.org.
You know a thing or two about the moments in life that matter. You've seized those moments to embrace joy, accomplish great things, and build meaningful relationships. Is it time now to sit back and reflect on a life well lived? Maybe. Or maybe there's more to be done. Maybe this is the most important moment you've encountered yet. By volunteering with AmeriCorps Seniors, you can seize the moment, lend a hand, and get back more than you give. We connect you to local volunteer organizations with opportunities that fit your schedule and match your interests. Through AmeriCorps Seniors, you can support people in times of need and make your community stronger. You can become a companion to your older neighbors, brightening their days with friendship. You can even become a mentor for young people, serving as a role model and enriching their lives. Are you ready to seize your moment? Visit AmeriCorps.gov/yourmoment and get started today.
Bobby played for the Dallas Cowboys. Tito wears assless chaps.
I'm dead sexy.
You're locked into Morning Juice.
Sharky.
Whatty?
Let's do something, an oldie but goodie, and now a newbie. What's got you juiced?
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Bobby, look, I finally got it all down to a science in the old studio. We're starting anew. What do you want to do with the first person on What's Got You Juiced?
You're in charge. I mean, I'm just along for the ride. This is your brainchild.
Your show.
First of all, do we have a Schlegel's thing to play also? Do we have one of those? We got all that?
Schlegel Valley.
That's all would have been great show prep for me to talk to you guys about. I know. Bobby, what has you juiced?
What's got me juiced? Well, today it been a less than perfect launch. You know, maybe had to spin back around. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. I'm hanging on the fact that hopefully working the kinks out and getting everything structurally set up and working the way that it's supposed to. Had a great time playing golf with Beam on Friday down at Joe Burrow's outing. A lot of great folks down there. A lot of fun. Hit some good shots, hit some bad shots. To me, golf is always just about enjoying hanging out with people, and it was a really heck of a nice day. The weather this weekend was tremendous.
Was it a scramble?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you can't embarrass yourself too much in a scramble.
Well, I mean, you can hit the ball out of bounds.
You just don't take your shot.
Yeah, and we took a handful of my shots, especially early on. But it was fun. Got to hang out there. He enjoyed it. Had some sweet swag gifts. Awesome cooler. I got some of the new Ray-Ban Meta glasses that you can, I don't know, see stuff and talk to and whatever else.
you can talk. You see the person in your class you're talking
the one
to.
that Connor Stallions was wearing. They've got the camera on the side and stuff like that.
You're going to be on the road at all this year for Ohio State, for some of Ohio State's future opponents?
I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, I got some of those. But it was a really good time. Weather was great. Happy Mother's Day to my mom out there, my mom, Susie. Got a chance to talk to her last night. Going to head down and make sure I see her tonight. Or not tonight, sometime this week. I've got some XM here to do later today. So that's got me juiced in a positive way. Got to hang out by the pool yesterday. My neighbor filled up their pool. It wasn't very warm.
What?
Yeah. What are you talking about? It's
nice.
Yeah. Well, the water was about 50. I went and sat in it for 12 minutes. It was like a cold
Cold
tub.
bath. Yeah, cold tub.
It's like a cold
yes.
tub. But it was hot outside. It felt good. It was awesome. Really enjoyed that. And then some negative juice. Want to congratulate Nick Myers on a great season for Ohio State and the men's lacrosse team. They had a home game. They were the 3 seed. Got a crap draw with Notre Dame.
They were the 4 seed.
Or 4 seed.
Yeah.
Notre Dame was, defending 2-time defending national champs. They had them here, and for awesome season. It sucks that it ended the way that it did and didn't play particularly well yesterday. But the 2 big, huge games they had at home with Maryland and now Notre Dame didn't really play all that well. But he did a great job this year getting the team ready to go, getting them in there, winning the Big Ten championship conference title for the first time, and then winning the tournament title for the first time, and doing that in the same season. Wildly impressive. And so that's got me juiced in a big way. Coming out of there, the positive, and then obviously the negative of them not moving on. That kind of stinks as they got beat up by Notre Dame pretty good. Up 3-1 and then gave up, I think, 5 or 6 straight goals. And it was a too deep of a hole for them to climb out of at that point. My son and his buddy went over there. It's a great environment, a great time. And they got to watch that and hang out and have a good time. Shark.
Yes.
For the first time in the digital realm, what Sly's got to say?
The Big Ten is now the girthy 10. It's amazing because he goes coast to coast, right? Top to bottom. And if you think about it, flip the United States on its axis to where it's vertical, but from the East Coast to the West Coast, it's like 2,600 miles of length and almost 1,600 miles of girth. That's pretty beefy. That's the Big Ten.
Nothing wrong with being girthy, boys. You want to be girthy. Actually, I don't like the Big Ten being the Big 18, but that's a story for another day. I went up to Ashland on Saturday. My mother broke her back 2 months ago.
Oh, my God.
Spent a week in the hospital, 3 weeks in rehab. When she got out of rehab, she couldn't walk. She couldn't walk 10 steps with a walker. I went home to see her on Saturday. We walked 0.92 miles in 28 minutes.
Couldn't get her the whole way?
What?
Couldn't get a full mile out of her?
Well, we did this big circle around
Come on,
the neighborhood.
Mom, we're almost there. Let's go.
And so I was
got 0.7 left. 0.8. Yeah, what did you say? Did you go to the whip too many times?
I did not go to the whip, but she had her walker. She was using her walker, and I was walking alongside her just in case she got a little dizzy. And this is a woman who's 87 years old.
Sure.
She is frail. I mean, she is a skeleton, down to 101 pounds when she got out of rehab. Now she said, Mark, I've been drinking milkshakes from McDonald's like 4 times a week. She's up to 106 pounds now.
Oh, there you go.
So I was really proud of her because I wasn't sure she was ever going to walk normally again. She has to wear a back brace to give her broken back some
How
support.
did she break her back?
She got dizzy and fell.
Oh, okay.
She has fallen, I'm going to say 6 times in the last 3 years, and it's usually on her face or her head or whatever. Right. She's had concussions. But, yeah, this time she didn't hit her head, and I thought, oh, man, that's great. Instead, she broke her back. And I keep telling her, you break your pelvis, and that's it.
Yeah.
You can't stay in your house after you do that because she refuses to go into assisted living. Then yesterday was Mother's Day, and Megan goes to Rock City.
Yeah.
She goes to
Tebow.
Timmy Tebow was there at the
Polaris
campus, which was a huge auditorium. First time I had been to that Rock City. And let me tell you something. Tim Tebow's got to be 37.
He'll be 38 August 14th.
Oh, my God. And he is not getting lazy in retirement, let's say. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Were you there in person or you were at the Hilliard campus?
Yeah.
So I mean, the definition in his arms and his thighs and his calves is unbelievable. And he did a great job. Urban was there in the front row. Hart was there. But anyway, it was fantastic. I was so glad that I got invited to that. And
you don't need invited. You could have just went anyway.
I could have, but I didn't until Megan told me. I didn't know Tebow was preaching. He was
very good.
I'm going to say 3,000 people. You know how big that auditorium is?
It's close to 3. I don't know if it's over, but I think it's close to
that. Yeah, it's a huge place. So that was a lot of fun. What's your name?
That's
Tito.
Okay. You can call me whatever you want to call me.
What has you juiced?
Well, first of all, I want to say this, that the scramble you talked about playing, I went, when I told you I played Saturday, I went out there and a buddy of mine just played in a scramble. They did something, Bobby, I've never seen in a scramble before. But so you went out and everybody, like on the first hole, the 4 guys, everyone went to drive. Then they roll a die in the group. And whatever number pops up, 1, 2, 3, or 4, that's whose shot you have to play.
Oh.
And they do the same thing on the par 3s.
Terrible.
And it's like all the way through. So you could have the same crappy golfers drive 3 or 4 holes in a row or whatever. So
where's the fun in that?
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
kind of fun.
But that, like, the purpose of the scramble is it keeps it moving. Like, your bad shot, you're not penalized for. You only benefit from your great ones. So that sounds awful.
I think it's just an interesting, as a bad golfer, it's an interesting twist. It would make you want to get 4 really good golfers, though. Whereas, like, I get invited to play in scrambles sometimes, knowing they won't use my shot just because I'm lighthearted and you can make fun of me and whatnot. But I wouldn't get
comedic relief.
That's all I'm ever good for anywhere, Bobby. And sometimes that's questionable. The Ohio State lacrosse thing, we were following it yesterday during Fan Sports Sunday. I was with Tim May. Yeah, they were up. Went down.
3-1, and
they were up 3-1. They got 6 in a row. It was 7-3. But they got screwed in the seeding, I think, Bobby. They were the 4 seed, right? They won the Big Ten regular season. They won the Big Ten championship in the tournament by beating Maryland.
The Maryland was the
2 seed.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
That seemed a little off to me, but whatever. But so what's got me juiced is this. I'm so hyped and excited to be here with you guys. And the first show, yes, we've had some glitches here and there. There's been a couple of...
Well, we didn't have audio in the YouTube to start. So
that's more than a glitch. That's a glatch. Yeah, that's a bigger thing.
It's fairly significant.
That's not just glitchy. Right. That's a little bit significant. But we got it fixed. The engineers working their butts off, so we got it fixed. And a lot of people, we've had up to 275 people in the YouTube chat, which is huge. People are finding us, which we enjoy. Make sure you always, obviously it'll be on YouTube. It'll be HD3.
The best part is that do you tell people your address when they're at your house already?
Well, I'm letting other people know, Bobby.
Here's where you can find us. Since you already did,
Yes.
Share the map.
Okay. Let me give you Bobby's address.
It's like, hey, I know where this treasure map is. It's
saying.
Right on top of the treasure. So if you find it, it'll be great.
If you see the X, find the X, and the X is where it will be, not the X Twitter. The X marks the spot. There we go. God, now it's going off the rails at the end here, which is fantastic. But it'll replay on 10 TV Plus. And tell your friends, tell other people about it as well. But it's been fun here in the chat. We appreciate all of that.
I'll be active at some point when my computer regains internet access.
That's the part of it. You have I've got access here.
Don't worry.
And we are a few feet away from each other.
Yeah.
And you can't get internet access over there.
Well, on my company computer, it didn't work at first. When I brought it back in, they said they need to give you a new one. And we're going to take is there anything on the old one you want? I go, well, I don't know. I really wasn't planning on it not being there. Let me look through it. And they go, well, we'll just take everything and put it on a flash drive and give it to you. Well, the flash drive has not appeared yet. That was over a week ago. I went to then get on the computer this morning, and there was no little mouse arrow on the screen. So we restarted it. Came back up, and I'm like, all right, well, I can't get on the internet. And Ben, our engineer, looked at it. Okay. He goes, I'm going to need to take this. And
it's that serious.
And that is where it has been.
So we don't know where it's the R2 unit is now being looked at by.
I'm not sure what happened.
I hope you get it back.
Hope is not a strategy, but we'll see what happens. Ben does a great job. He was basically trying to fend off a tidal wave of issues this morning, and all he had was like 4 sandbags. So I mean, he was doing the very best he could.
Look, this has been a huge undertaking that,
that probably should have been delayed, but either way.
No, don't say that, Bobby. Let's be positive.
I am being positive. I wanted it to be more efficient.
I woke up earlier than my alarm was set today. I was so pumped being here with you guys. Did you wake up any earlier than usual?
I actually woke up at 2:00 in the morning and started getting dressed, and then I looked back at my alarm didn't even go off. I just woke up and thought,
see?
Because usually if I wake up, it's like 5 minutes before my alarm. And so it's right around that time. Occasionally, I'm like, I get up. It's like 3 o'clock. I can sleep for like another hour and change. And then today I got up. I mean, I'm not kidding you, Shark. It was like 1:55. And I'm like putting all my stuff on. And this is not a joke. I literally jump out of bed a lot of times. Like I'll just spin to the side and then
you
just
jump out of bed?
I'll just like fire my feet up and it makes a lot of noise. And I think my wife appreciates it.
No kidding.
I don't like just sliding out. We have like a Tempur-Pedic bed that we've had for like 10 years. And so I sleep elevated a little bit, so like leaning up and rolling. So I'll just spin to the side and kind of jump out. I jumped out and just put everything on. I was really sweaty because I don't know. Our AC is probably not on right now, and my pillow was like soaked. And I woke up. I'm there, and I'm like looking down. I went to put my watch on. It's like 1:45, 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, this is great. I'm like, I'm going back to sleep. So I went back to sleep.
You should have come in here early.
And done what?
Just get mentally ready. Get psyched up.
Get ready for all the issues that was about to happen?
No, Phil wants...
given me the list.
Listen, Phil wants to know for you, because the heater in there, is that your heater in the other one?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got the rights to that and the jerseys. We've established that.
Well, the heater is mine. I actually functionally bought it and brought it in. I would bring it back here, but I would feel bad because Reeser needs it. I think he likes it. It's so warm in here.
It's warm in here.
That's what Phil was asking. Is the temperature better for Bobby in this room?
It's great. Phil, it feels phenomenal in here. It's maybe a little bit warm today, but I would much rather have this than me trying to stave off hypothermia on a consistent basis.
My biggest concern is if Shark gets gassy.
That's fine.
We're locked in. We're closed quarters here.
It's a snug room, but
it's a very snug room. All right, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. We're back again tomorrow. This has been Morning Juice. Check us out on 10 TV+.
You know what hope is? Hope is action. Carving a path forward, even when it's hard.
And kids who still know how to dream. They're the best pathfinders of all.
So at Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and so all those good things can come true for them. Safe.
And that means safe at home, safe at school, and safe online.
Hope means walking this path together. All of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund. Because we need each other.
To learn how Child Fund works with children in 23 countries to help them achieve their full potential, visit childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we.
Brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together.
Established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit Dogs Inc.